So there's about to be some fuckery afoot this week, and I want to help you get ahead of it. You are going to be noticing a lot of disruptions within your family and immediate friend group. No love and relationship. We learned that lesson with Venus retrograde and with the Mercury retrograde. But this is pretty major, and it's almost like helping you bring you up to a higher timeline. I read something this morning that really slapped, and I want to lead this reading with that. I pulled a couple cards. I want to get into it, and I'll walk you through the timeline of what's supposed to happen. But I read something that really got me, because this week is designed to help you in your spiritual ascension. And when I say that, I don't mean that you're going to like fucking Roanoke yourself to new earth. Like, you're going to be healing ancestral trauma, and it's going to feel really hard, and it's going to make you feel really raw and vulnerable by the end of the week, but I promise you it's worth it. Let me read the thing that I read this morning. Higher timeline puts you on a frequency where everything within you that is not aligned with truth gets kicked up to the surface, and you're forced to heal, okay? There is something that I talk to clients about, a lot of times, and actually it's interesting, like the New York Times wrote an article about it and published it on Easter morning, which it was an article that bummed me out, but they were talking about how a lot of people left organized religion and then went to other spiritualities and then weren't satisfied with it, and they're going back. I feel like they missed a major point in that article. When you do the work, and I'm not saying if you like sit there and you fucking meditate every morning, or if you light some incense and cleanse your aura. There's a lot of spiritual gatekeeping that happens even within our communities too. What happens when you evolve your spirituality is you become one with everything around you. You start noticing things, okay? So you start co-creating with nature, and instead of like wanting to dominate nature, which is the patriarchal construct, you want to live within the realms of nature and enjoy everything that Mother Earth offers, the Gaia offers. You start to see everyone as one. Instead of being oil and water and being pitted, one person or one group against the other, you start to see everybody as one. All of the people around you who are not healed, who are not on their spiritual evolution, you start to struggle being around them, and you start to have a lot of grief. And there's a push and pull around your history with them and how much you love them, and also the realization that you're moving forward and you can't bring them with you. And you can try, but if someone hasn't spiritually evolved to the point that you can work with them, and it comes out in their empathy and compassion or the lack thereof, there is this like pulling point that it's like you can either stay out of fear and stay with them in that group, or you could move forward, which is a very lonely journey. But in talking about that higher timeline, it's true. When you do the work and you're with a good therapist, and you do actually have a spiritual practice, and you have a great community that you work with, and you look at the world and you do not isolate one group of people out of judgment, but you see all of us as one, that is empathy and compassion, that's when you're evolving your timeline and you're raising your vibration as a person. Now, that said, this week's going to shake all that shit up, right? As much work as you've done, there's going to be a couple lessons that come forward, and they're going to come forward in the form of full-on fucking confrontation that is going to shake up the foundation of your family and friend group. And what you're going to have to do, and what the theme is you're going to have to hold your boundaries, but it doesn't look like, oh, I'm going to stop talking to that person, I'm going to ghost that person, or I'm just not going to, I'm going to pretend like they don't exist. It doesn't look like that. What it looks like is you're going to have to verbally speak out your boundaries and tell them to fuck themselves, essentially. Or you just have to like speak up for yourself, because what these like last group of like lessons that's happening in April, and they're all planetary transits, but what's happening is it's like taking your foundation and going, it's like shaking everything, and whatever falls off of it is meant to fall off. Don't sit there and try to hold them like the fucking Titanic. Like, don't try to hold on to those people and things and concepts that are being shaken off your foundation, because it's all happening for a reason. I'm going to go into it. And I will say this, no astrological sign is safe during this transit. So on the 23rd, there's going to be a lot of power struggles. You're going to see them play out on the greater stage on in our world, but you're going to start to see it trickle down to the people around you. Now, it may not necessarily have to do anything with you. Excuse me. You may see your family start to kind of like shake up a little bit, or your group of friends. You may start to see some stuff shake up. Then by the time that April 24th to the 26th rolls around, it's going to be shaking up and fucking up your world. So on the 24th, I'm looking at my notes. There's going to be, so Venus joins Saturn. And there's going to be this lesson we're going to be asked to look around at all the people around you. And if there's anything that is in chaos, ask yourself if you want that to be your chaos, or are you meant to walk away from it? And by walking away, you have to like say it. You have to actually tell them that you're like, hey, this is bullshit. I don't want anything to do with it. Y'all are crazy, right? It has to be something like that. Or I don't want you in my world anymore. You know, we're just not the same person anymore. You have to call it and say it out loud and do the uncomfortable and the kind thing. It's like there's a difference between doing the right thing and the kind thing. Sometimes we have to do the kind thing. That is going to make itself really obvious on the 24th. On the 26th, Mars is in Leo. So we're going to see a lot of like big emotions, big fights. There's going to be like a crescendo to whatever that like discord that began. You're going to see it come to crescendo by like the 26th, 27th. There's going to be kind of like I would say, how would I put it? It's almost like, I'm trying to think of the game where everyone's pulling on both ends of, like, I shouldn't do that. When people are playing like with a rope and it's like they're pulling on one side and they're pulling on the other, it's going to feel like a tug of war. That's it. It's going to feel a lot of like forcing control on other people or trying to control other people. Now, here's the thing. It could be other people trying to control you, but you may be the one trying to control the situation because you see that like people are about to go off the deep end or they're about to do something really unhinged. You have to let them do it. You can't actually control what they're doing. You have to let them learn the lesson. And in doing so, you may have to step back, or you may have to be like, hey, I see you're in this chaotic space. I don't want any part of it. I wish you the best of luck, but I'm stepping back. And then lastly, April 27th is the new moon in Taurus. I'm actually really looking forward to that one. We're going to have a nicer moon in, I think it's like May 26th. We've got a beautiful moon coming up. But the one in Taurus is all about holding your ground and basically stating like, hey, all this crazy shit happened. I need to claim my peace. I have to say it out loud to everyone who needs to hear it. And I need to move to the side, right? To like let them do their thing. What I would recommend around that new moon is that you create a petition, you write something and you bury it, you plant it in the ground and give like the earth an offering on top of the petition. And you just state whatever it is that you want out of this life lesson specifically. And I will say this lesson that is coming to you this week has everything to do around, and I keep thinking it's around families, but it's everything to do around you healing ancestral wound. And if you need to look at your family tree and all of the chaos that is involved in this tree and understanding where all of this trauma comes from, you may sit there and realize that you have a saw in your hand and it is perfectly fine for you to saw that branch off and just be like, I'm going off. I'm going to replant my own tree and start something fresh from this because I can't inherit this trauma. And that's what this comes down to. So that said, I did a quick reading. I'm just going to blow through that real quick. Current energy is judgment. Now, when I say judgment, it's not saying that you're judging other people. What it's saying is that a situation is going to make itself really obvious, and you're going to have to make a harsh decision. That decision, the challenge is going to be based on your self-worth. Knight of Pentacles, Pentacles are self-worth. You are going to have to decide, is this worth my energy or not? Or do I just need to move on? That's going to be a really tough decision. And it's going to be a heartbreaking one too. Four of Swords is the outcome. Sorry, like throaty this morning. Four of Swords is like leaving something behind and feeling the lack. Remember when I was telling you that when you do the work around your empathy and compassion, that you realize you can't bring people with you, like when you're actually ascending into that space and you're becoming one with the collective and you're seeing the people who you're leaving behind energetically, I'm not saying you're doing it in real time, but you're energetically leaving people behind, there's a grief that happens because those people help create you and make you who you are. They were a part of the environment in which you were conceived into. But that said, there's a grief that comes in the letting go. But do you want to be on that higher timeline or not? And I think that's what you have to ask yourself. That's the judgment call, right? Do you want to keep doing the evolutionary spiritual work that places other people in the rearview mirror? Doesn't mean that they're all the way out, but it definitely means they have their own group, you know, and if you see that group of people operating in the way that you've seen other people before them come in, like say, for example, if you have trauma that existed with your grandparents, you saw it co-occurring with your parents, then co-occurring in your aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings. If all of that happens and it becomes almost like this really toxic place, you have to make the difficult choice to extricate yourself, but you can't ghost it. You have to call it out loud and say, I want to heal. I have to leave you behind. I wish you well and I love you, but no more of this bullshit. You know, I can't do it. It lowers my vibration and I'm not okay with that. You have to find the words to stick up for that little kid who didn't have a voice to begin with, right? You're sticking up for all the past versions of yourself who didn't have the option to do so, because now you're an adult. Now you can choose your spirituality. Now you can evolve that, but it's up to you on like where you want to be by the time that all this shakes out. So a couple ways through. Every day until the end of April, sage yourself, incense, like kind of cleanse your aura. And I would do it with smoke because smoke is pretty fucking potent. Some people do it with bells because they can't do it with smoke. That's fine too. But I want you to allow yourself to feel the energy alleviate, right? Carry a black tourmaline in your pocket. I recommend that highly. I've had some crazies come my way and be like, oh my God, I love your energy. I just want to eat it up. And I'm like, here's my black tourmaline. Start with that. Do that. And then the last thing is, okay, so around the new moon, set the intention, plant it, do an offering to the earth, and allow it to take seed. But this is going to be an early week, but I want to read you that passage one more time. Higher timelines put you on a frequency where everything within you that is not aligned with truth gets kicked up to the surface and you're forced to heal. I wish you all healing.